Hey guys, welcome to Fun&gun. This one took me a little longer to get my hands on than I was expecting, but I want to say a big thanks to my buddy Jeff for getting my hands on one of these so I could actually use it to make this video, and that is the Canik TTI Combat, the Terran Tactical version. As you can see there, it is upside down because that is how the case works, so we'll go ahead and pop it open here, and you're met with this little foam insert that has the Terran Tactical logo and the Canik and everything kind of embroidered into it there, which is pretty cool. The top of the case here kind of has a little placard talking a little bit more about the Terran Tactical part of this, and I'll go ahead and insert a picture here that you can pause and read that if you're interested in seeing what it says there. But let's go ahead and get this out of the way before we, well, right before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and mention that all your paperwork does come in this little pouch in the top, which is pretty cool. You got a lens cleaning cloth because this version does come with the red dot. So I'm going to go ahead and set all that out of off to the side there. And you go ahead and look in here, and you're going to get pretty much everything you expect to come with a Canik pistol these days. That is the really cool little Canik pistol tool, a couple of optics plate adapters. You're going to get the optics plate plug, because what we're talking about that is the reason you get the plug even with the red dot is because this particular red dot actually came off of the side in this hole, which I thought was kind of weird that it wasn't mounted from the factory. And I also found this kind of dumb is it comes with this nice little rubber cover, and this being the Canik red dot, you would expect them to actually bother to make it where you can put the cover back on it and use this to store the gun in your safe or whatnot. I like to keep my red dots covered up, keep them from getting beat up, keep them from getting dusty while they're in the safe, not in use. But essentially, you got this little rubber cover here. It's all nice and fancy, but useless. So, figured while we was talking about mounting the red dot, we'd talk about that because I thought that was kind of dumb. And while we're talking about the red dot mount, that is one of the bigger things that was upgraded on the Canik Terran Tactical version here, and that is the red dot the optics mounting system here. Your optics plate is quite a bit thinner. We'll go ahead and bring a rival in here as comparison. You can see the old style how thick the plate was. You actually had enough room to thread a slide racker into the side on either side of that, which you no longer have on the Terran Tactical here, which I don't feel like a lot of people, were actually probably using that anyways. And most people probably didn't even know what it was when they got the gun in the first place, or the rival in the first place. So the fact that it's not there is not a big deal. It's definitely worth it for the fact that if you can see there how close that window is to the actual slide there, it goes ahead and brings your sight to overbore down quite a bit, which is nice. Just gives it an all-around better mounting system there. So that is one of the first things that's different on this particular gun. Like I said, you get all the same stuff as any other Canik, and the cool thing about this particular case is you actually have 2 floors of stuff stored in it here. You got your holster, which looks extremely similar. Let me grab it here to the holster that came with the rival. It's a little bit different. Obviously, they look different, but mold-wise, they're basically the same thing. This one has a thumb adjustable knob. This one needs a Phillips head screwdriver. You actually have more adjustability on the cant of the holster and the mounting of the holster mount on the rival version of it than you do the Terran Tactical. But you can get quite a bit of adjustment on the cant with these 2 little belt adjustments here as well. So not a big deal. The fact that it comes with a holster, in my opinion, is still nice, even if it is a little bit different than the older holster. It's still a really nice holster for the fact that it comes with it. Then you get a nice brass cleaning brush, patch jag, tool to push out pins when you want to change the back straps and whatnot, take the gun apart, anything. You get all the tools here and a few more things for the red dot mounting system and adjusting the red dot, sighting in, whatnot. You get your gun lock there that just lives in that little hole there, I guess. But you got yourself the Terran Tactical Combat Recoil System, which the difference in this is this is actually a lighter recoil spring, and it actually says low on it because this is made for lower velocity ammo where you're setting it up for competition. It actually says on the back here not to use this with factory ammo. It's not recommended. So that is for extreme competition use essentially. So that's all that comes in the box with this. And we'll go ahead and, since I'm gonna kind of do a comparison here to what you kind of a value of this particular gun versus the Rival, we'll go ahead and go over what the Rival comes with as well. You get 2 magazines with the Rival as well. You get your mounting plates, you get the magazine loading tool, all your other knickknacks, back straps and everything in the top here. So you do get quite a bit with the Rival, not quite as much as you do with the Terran Tactical, so there is a little bit more value in that. So let's bring the Terran Tactical back in here. And while we're talking about what you get here, you do get 2 magazines. One's an 18 round, has a nice aluminum base plate on it matched to the gun. And then the other one is part of the Terran Tactical part here is you get a +3 on your 18, making it a 21 round. And this is based off the Terran Tactical design, which is, I believe, the first company that ever let actually use their design. And that is where you can loosen this set screw, push this pin down, take the mag base off to clean the magazine. So that is nice as well. That's also made out of aluminum. So the fact that that is on the gun right there, that's pretty cool. And it actually is set up. I don't know why you would want to be able to do this, but you can take that mag base off, put it in there. You have extra space for spare mag bases in different things. I believe that's what that's for. I don't exactly know why you would need that, but that is cut out into the foam here if you want to pop it out. You also have a spot over here that you can put your extended magazine in. If you want to pop it out and get another mag, that'll fit there. And obviously it fits in the gun as you see it there. And I'm going to go ahead and say that every gun you see in this video is safety check off the camera. I'm not going to sit here and pull the slide open on all of them and talk about that, but they are safety checked. So let's go ahead and get into a few things on the Terran Tactical here that is different from the Rival. We'll go ahead and get in also to a few issues that I found with the Terran Tactical that I did not have with the Rival. Not a big, huge issue. It's just something I noticed that one ammo I tried would not work in this that worked just fine in the Rival. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and talk about this gun and just what they did change on it versus this. So let's see. We'll go ahead and start off with something I thought was kind of interesting is the fact that this gun is actually shorter than the Terran Tactical is shorter than the Rival, even though it has a comp on the end of the Terran Tactical. I found that kind of interesting. But the differences here is, other than just the fact that this is comped, is you got a completely different slide cut here. As you can see, you got large aggressive slide cuts on your Rival. Works just fine. These are a lot smaller, but they're a lot more aggressive with cut, and they work just fine as well. I really like the way these look. I mean, I like the Rival too, but this being the new kid on the block, I definitely like a little bit of a change up. I like kind of how these got more of a fish scale look to them, as like you see on some of the older, what's that, Glock? They had that Glock, the specialty Glock had the fish scale slide serrations. That kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But what we're talking about the serrations here is something I found kind of odd, and it's not really something I prefer, is the fact that they did kind of put a black fade into all the serrations on this, including the ones on the slide release here, to kind of give it a shadowy look. And to me, it just looks like they've got dirt down in them from your fingers racking the slide and everything. That'd be something I'd be trying to clean out, but that is part of how this gun is set up. That was done on purpose as part of the Cerakote, which, while we're talking about the Cerakote, I do really like this bronze color. I like the silver version of the Rival, but this bronze definitely, in my opinion, kind of looks way better than both versions of the Rival, the dark or the standard here. Excuse me. I'm just a big fan of the bronze. Definitely just a different look. Let's see here, a few other things different. I mentioned the slide release a little bit there. Same slide release, different cuts just to give it a different look to match the rest of the gun. Both of them function the same. Something else here is the Terran Tactical no longer has the adjustable magazine release that you get with the Rival. So if you're used to being able to adjust the length of the magazine release and you like running the large one, you're not going to be able to do that with this one. It is fixed in place, which doesn't bother me. As you'll see, I'll go ahead and insert a clip of me doing a reload right here. I want to apologize for the lighting. You'll see that in quite a few of these scenes, and that was because the sun shifted in the middle of me shooting. I didn't realize it. as you see there, it's not a big deal. It's just as easy to reload as any other gun I've messed with. It's a real nice large button, got a nice serration onto it that goes ahead and makes it easy to press in. So not a big deal, but if you're expecting to be able to adjust that, you can't do that anymore on this particular gun. And while we're on the frame here, this gun has a completely different grip texture than any other Canik in the rival as well. As you can see there, it has more of a sandpaper grip texture all the way around, which I do prefer over the rival. Definitely a good upgrade. Not going to tear your hands up like some of the other guns I messed with, like something like an M&P with the metal frame. My buddy that owns this gun, well, owns both these guns, also has one of those, and as he will tell you is, when you shoot it, it definitely, that gun takes some off your hand. It is definitely an extremely aggressive gun. Not unpleasant really, but this is definitely better for the fact that you still have plenty of grip and it's not hurting your hand quite as much. So preference wise, I do like this over the rival. Definitely a better texture. It carries on up here to your memory spots as well. It's got a little bit more texture there. Let's see here. While we're talking about, I guess, that the fact that it has a comp on it, that is what led to some of the issues I had with the gun. We'll get into that a little bit farther into the video, but how effective is this comp? It does work. It is definitely not as effective as some other comps I've used, such as the one on my Zev OZ9 custom build here I call Warhawk. Full build series on my channel here about this if you're interested in how this is set up. But this has the Radiant kit on it, and as you can see there, they are roughly the same length, but this one has way bigger ports in it than this does. So this is way more effective than the Terran Tactical one is. And now, what I'm talking about that now is does it shoot flatter and a little smoother than the rival? Yes, because it is comped. Is this the most effective comp they could have put on there? No. And when I say that is you got all this extra space here. They could have opened these ports up quite a bit more and moved a little bit more gas than they did, but I'm sure they have a reason for going with the port size they did. And I keep saying port sizes. This is kind of a ported barrel on top of the fact that it has this comp on there. The comp, I'm sure if you've seen, you can press this button, take it off, and the barrel itself is essentially ported, which is kind of how this is done as well. And that's what allows the comp to sit so close to the end of the gun. And that is the same with this, because there's no threads under there that allows this to sit really close to the gun. But it doesn't make sense to me why they made it longer without going ahead and making the ports larger. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could take this to someone that has a machine shop and make these ports a little bit larger, get a little bit more gas flow out of that. But that is how it comes from the factory. While we're up on top of the gun here, another thing is, as you can see there, your fiber optic on your Terran Tactical, if you are going to shoot this gun as an iron sight only gun, is double the length and actually a bigger fiber optic rod than the one on the rival here. So that's going to make it pick up light quite a bit more, and it's going to be a lot brighter on the dot. So that's pretty cool that they went ahead and did that. I'm sure you could pick that up and put it on the rival if you wanted to, but that is something that comes on this from the factory. And when I was talking about the optics plates, you do not lose your rear sight on the Terran Tactical like you do on the rival. You can get the dark rival, and it comes with a plate for a specific red dot that allows you to keep a rear sight, but this version does not come with that, so you lose your rear sight. The fact that you still have your rear sight is not really relevant with this particular red dot setup, because as you can see there, you're looking straight at the back of the red dot, which I found kind of interesting, seeing as this Canik red dot is a Canik design. You would have thought that, hey, we're making a red dot and it's going to essentially go on this gun, that we should have made the sights either high enough to co-witness with it or made the red dot have a pass-through like I've seen on other ones, so you could use the iron sights, because like I said, red dot is made by them. Thought that was kind of interesting, especially seeing as how low it sits. Now, I do know, I believe it's the SRO. If you put an SRO on this, that's what the plate was designed for, and the sights as well. I believe it does co-witness, but the fact that the Canik red dot itself does not, it's kind of a bummer, I guess. But I guess when you get into the price point of this versus an SRO, it's not a big deal anymore, but that is what it is. And let's see here. Gun is unloaded. The other gun, like I said, they're both unloaded. I'll go ahead and show you just for the safety gurus out there. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the triggers on these guns, and does the Terran Tactical feel any better than the Rival? So this is what Canik's known for, is a good trigger, which this is no exception. You go ahead and pull it. You got a little bit of take up, which I would have liked to have seen them eliminate a little bit of that, just to kind of make this a little bit different than the Rival, to kind of just upgrade it slightly more. But you do got that little bit of take up. You got a nice firm wall. Just move it a little bit more, and you get a nice break. The one thing about the Canik triggers that is awesome is the fact that they break it essentially a almost perfect 90 degree. You got just a nice short reset there. And you're gonna go ahead and get the Rival here. Got the same take up, same wall, same break, same reset. Is the triggers different in these two guns? To me, no, I can't feel an absolute no difference in the two. So they didn't upgrade the trigger any in the Terran Tactical version, because there's really not a whole lot of upgrading you can do when you already got the best factory striker fire trigger on the market, I guess. So other than they could have eliminated some of that take up, there ain't much they could do there. It's just it's an awesome trigger already. Another thing that I did notice is they do have the same magwell. I did see someone talk about them having different magwells. They're exactly the same magwell. They mount the same. They are fit the same. I actually say that the Rivals actually fit a little bit better. As you can see there, it funnels in a little bit better. There's a ledge on the Terran Tactical. Probably not on all of them, but the way this one's fitted definitely could have been done a little bit better. It's not blended the best there. You could fix that with a Dremel tool or a file. Not too big of a deal. So I'm going to go ahead and insert some clips of me shooting the Rival, and then I'll shoot the Terran Tactical after that using some 115 grain ammo. And then we'll come back, talk about it a little bit more, and we'll get into the 124 grain NATO, and that is where I ran into the issues with the Terran Tactical. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, first up, we went ahead and shot the Rival a little bit with some 115 grain Federal to kind of get a little bit of a better idea of how it compares to the new Terran Tactical. Okay, let's go ahead and put a little of that 115 grain through the TTI Combat to go ahead and see how the comp feels versus the Rival without the comp. Okay, as you can see there, both guns run flawless with the 115 grain. I can definitely, even with the 15 grain, tell that the comp is still going to shoot softer and flatter than just the plain Rival. So I figured, hey, let's throw some NATO through it to go ahead and give the comp some more gas just to see if it made a difference. And that is when you'll see in just a second that this gun choked horribly. And as you'll see right now, I'm going to go ahead and show me shooting the Rival, and it ran just fine. And then after that, you'll see me shoot this, and just, it was a jam-o-matic. Couldn't get more than a couple of rounds off without having an issue. And when I come back from showing me shoot, I'll get into why I think that is. Okay, as you'll see here, the Rival just goes ahead and runs the 124 grain NATO flawless without any issues. And seeing as the Rival ran it just fine, I figured that this gun would as well, because I've had pretty good luck out of this ammo with quite a few of my other guns to even being comped. But as you can see here, this gun will not at all run the 124 grain NATO, and we'll get into a little bit why I think that may be in just a second. Okay, as you've seen there, with this Winchester NATO, this particular gun would not cycle pretty much for nothing. And I can't say some of that's probably because Winchester ammo is garbage. Even this NATO, I really just picked this up because it was cheap and I wanted to be able to compare comps just to see if this would do anything different. Imported guns to see if you can feel the difference in the gun, because this by itself, with just a regular gun, you can definitely feel it's got some power. When you start putting it into something that's comped, you can definitely feel the difference using the comp then, so that's kind of why I have that. But I would say some of that might have been the ammo not being the highest quality, but I think a lot of it is we essentially just took this gun right out of the box and started shooting it today to make the video with and play with it. Just my buddy was playing with it some, I was shooting it, and I think he had a few issues too, but he was just running regular ammo because the gun essentially is not fully broken in, I feel like. And when you start slapping a comp on the end of the gun, that kind of changes the game a little bit because it is introducing a different force to the end of the barrel. Now this gun should be tuned from the factory to run with this comp, excuse me, which it does just fine with the 115 grain. I'm sure it would with any other just standard pressured ammo. But when you get into the NATO and get kind of more of a plus P, it's putting so much force onto this comp and everything hadn't worked itself in yet that it's causing the gun to choke up. And that's why I kept getting a dead trigger, because it wasn't cycling properly, wasn't going back into battery all the way, wouldn't reset the trigger, just all kinds of issues. And I guess that would be kind of a thing that it would be almost hard for me to want to carry this gun, because I didn't actually shoot it with any carry ammo, but seeing as a lot of the carry ammo is more of a plus P style ammo on a lot of occasions, or a hotter ammo to start with, I'd have to run quite a bit up through this gun before I feel comfortable carrying this gun after having issues with the NATO. So that is something you might have to look out for. It may not cycle all of your ammos with the comp, at least not right off the bat. I feel like once it slickens up and breaks in a little bit, it's going to get better. Now the gun is dry now in some places because we did shoot it quite a bit today, but it was old when we were shooting it. So that was really the only issue we had with the gun. Something else I found with both guns was kind of interesting, was not a problem, I thought was pretty cool, is I'll go ahead and insert clips of me doing this with both guns, is when you insert the magazine in either of these guns, you can slam it in hard enough to make it go ahead and auto drop. That is, without having to press the slide release on either of them, it just drops the magazine, or drops the slide. Now there are some pluses and minuses to that. I did have this one drop the slide a few times and not pick up a round. So in some ways that's a negative in a competition manner. If you can get it to do it every time, it's really a plus, because it just takes one step out of the reload process by slamming the mag in and just getting back at it. So as you can see there, both of them worked, and I'll insert some clips of me trying to get them to work and couldn't get it to work. So it kind of shows you that it is a little bit finicky, but there is the probability that you can get it to do it. So I guess we're going to get into, is this gun worth more value wise than this gun? And it really depends on what you're going to use it for. Like I mentioned, if you're going to just use it as a range toy, Rival's going to do you just fine. If you're looking to get into more serious competition, I definitely think the extra $270 is worth it on this gun, because you're going to be able to run it a lot faster with the nice grip texture you get here, the lower red dot, and the compensator all together. Just makes this an all-around awesome package, and it's really probably the best value as a competition gun right off the bat that you're going to find. The fact that, like I said, it comes with a holster and everything. The only thing you're really going to need to pick up is a few magazine holsters, a couple more magazines, and you're going to be able to take this and just go run a competition right off the bat, which you can with this too. And you can be really proficient with these guns. People have been shooting them in competition for a while. It's been out longer, but I really think if you don't have one of these guns, you're going to be a lot happier to go ahead and spend the money and not have to mess with different stuff by just going ahead and getting the Terran Tactical. And the fact that it's Terran Tactical, it's just cool. It comes with the challenge coil and everything like I showed you a minute ago. Just makes this a cool all-around thing, and it's really the cheapest way you're ever going to get something with the Terran Tactical name on it. So that's really all I had for you today.
Okay, if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're looking for more Fun and Gun right now, you can click one of the 2 recommended videos there. If you're looking for more Fun and Gun later, you can go ahead and click that there subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. And if you're finding me from Facebook, go ahead and click that open app button at the top to make all that a lot easier, and I'll see you next time.